Hello.
Well, congrats, Roy.
Right. Yeah, thank you everyone for doing the commentary on the stream. Are there any games in particular that you want to look at right now?
I mean that I can't remember which game it was, but yeah, this one.
That King C5 one.
The King C5 line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was prepped, obviously. Because I saw that, like, for King C5, it's technically not sound, but the refutation for white is so complicated that you have to go like at least 10 moves deep to try and hold the advantage. And for black, it's very natural. So even if you got it right and nobody gets it right, that's pretty obvious because the setup for black is almost always the same with Queen C8, Rook B8 type of ideas to try and get a draw, because that just throws your opponent completely off. And yeah, that worked, of course, the last two games.
Yeah, that was very impressive to have that preparation in. And then the other preparation was when you were white, that weird Queen H4 line with King G3. The one that Seth was pointing out that Avi played before.
Yeah, that I looked at the games, from Cyber against Avi. I saw those and I improved on it. So I prepped that. Actually, the line we played in that one game, if you want to look at it right now.
Yeah, I can't remember what game
blundered.
it was.
I actually prepped the blunder, and I failed to remember what was the correct theory. So I was like, "Oh, I did it again," because King H4 there is not good because you allow Knight F3 or Knight E3. But I did that in practice games before the match. I did that exact line once, and I played King H4, and it wasn't that great. I still won, and I did it again, so that was a bit stupid. But yeah, catch him out of theory, and eventually it's so tough to hold for black. So pretty happy with that.
There we go.
Because in the candidates match, I played second move Queen H4, so King G3, King B3, Queen H4. And I was like, I'm not going to prep that again. So obviously, he might know that, I can do that line. So I had to find something new. But yeah, I think I used almost all of my prep this match.
That's nice. And yeah, you also played that in the last World Championship against him, the Queen H4 line. I think it was the very first game.
Yep. That is theory from 2021.
Yeah.
Well, that was the King G3, King B3, Queen H4.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't going to do that a third time. That would have been a bit overkill.
And yeah, this end game that you found here is that Royal was hanging, Cyber was hanging on here, fairly well. But then you found that King to G7 move, and then he blundered with the knight. That was very impressive. Yeah.
At some point I had to find the break there, and like I knew that Cyber was never gonna play Bishop D4, Bishop E4. Like my predictions for what he would play were almost 100% spot on for this match. Like he didn't surprise me much at all, and I still obviously lost a number of games. That was unfortunate. Just shows how much you need to prepare those lines. But I think I improved a lot in Bishop Symmetry. So I really prepped that. And obviously I used it myself as well in one of the last games. Because one day before the match, I had this epiphany of like, oh, right, I can just play King G3 Symmetry and transpose. There's that line that has existed for literal ages. And there is no good way to avoid it, right? I was like, okay, if I want King E5 myself, I can just do that. Oh wow! And I'm just surprised that not many other people use that, because it's such an easy way to get the line you want.
Yeah. Very clever preparation, I must admit.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is one other game that I wanted to talk to you about because Seth and I were looking at it. That the end game, that usually to draw there, and that we were mentioning that we believe you had to study on how to draw, but it's the two rooks versus queen end game.
Yep.
I checked it out 4 times.
Is that
oh yes.
That there is a mate sequence there that we were surprised that actually had a mate sequence. And it's actually like for moves like 20 to 23, it's just a plus 99. But then once you start moving your king over, when you limit your queen's squares, it's actually winning for white.
Yeah, I mean, I still vaguely remember the theory, but the moment I could trade down to that particular endgame, I was just relieved because I was way too low on time. And that looked like something that I could actually shuffle and draw. As opposed to what I had before that, which was a completely lost endgame. Like, the lines where I went for rook to b6, right? Those are, in theory, they are completely fine for black. If you just go bishop takes b6, rook takes, queen takes, and then king to e5. But I didn't have enough practice with that because most players, they will just forget to go king e5, and then they allow bishop b2, and black is fine. So 80% of the time, I get that on the board. So when I had the actual line with king to e5, I had to think quite a bit to get a setup that kind of worked. And I analyzed it in the break, and then after the break we got it again, and it still didn't work for me. Although I did win the game.
But question: what prompted 11 king a6 instead of king c6?
Which game?
The game we're talking about right now.
Okay, so where we ended in that. Okay, 11 king c6.
You played king a6.
King a6 was a mistake. Yeah, I mean, I thought about king c6, but I don't know. I just didn't think it was enough because, like, rook e7 and rook g8 is incoming. And I didn't calculate it correctly because, engine says it's a draw. I thought, nope, don't want to go into that. So I fancied my chances better with king a6. Obviously, that was not correct. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the crucial move that you needed to see was knight to z6 there.
Well, it's not about seeing knight d6, it's about seeing that it works, because these motifs of king c6 and knight d6 and stuff, all of that is just said in my brain. I already know that that exists. I just need to see that, all right, it's a draw here, and it actually works. But yeah, could have obviously played that better, but got a bit lucky in the end. I think in terms of luck, it balanced out, because in the start of the match, it really should have been 4-2 or 5-1 for me before the first break. I fumbled a lot of endgames there.
Yeah, we were looking at that very complicated positions. Both players are not playing super sharp for the ones that actually turned out into decisive results, at least. The draws you had in the beginning, though, were pretty straightforward.
Yeah, like, my strategy was pretty clear. It's just go for draws with black and try to win with white. But obviously, if I then lose some of my games with the white pieces as well, or draw them, because, like, I think I squandered at least 2 full points with very unnecessary blunders in the first part of the match. So then it was 3-3, and I was like, should have been better.
Yep.
And then he went on to win 2
game.
games. Fourth game. Yeah, do you want to look at that?
No, that's just the one where you played queen g6.
Yeah. Queen g6 was a brain fart. Yeah, that was quite terrible. That was literal head in hands moment. Roy not like this. But yeah, crucially, I just missed the tactic of queen takes e1. That completely jeopardized the entire position, because up to then it was good prep. It was completely fine for white. That's a position that's +3. You can push for a win, no problem. But if it trades down like that, then obviously black is fine. And I missed that, and that was just silly. I was honestly quite horrified when Cyber went knight c3. Can we go to that game? Where is it? Oh yeah, I proceeded to lose that as well, I think. Yep.
Which game was it?
That's the last game that Cyber won in the entire match. Because I had prepped everything except for knight c3. That was not so great. I then got that on the board.
Yeah.
So obviously I have some experience playing knight c3 myself with the black pieces, because I've done that. Like, that is actually the game that, game 20, I had a brain fart and then lost the 2021 World Championship.
Yeah.
So I had a must-win with black, and then I played knight c3 lines, and then I lost them. Anyways, I had prepped queen e7 extensively. Queen e7 is a mistake there. I had prepped mainline queen to d6 extensively, but if he goes knight c3, then all of that is just garbage.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect him to go knight c3 either, because he plays, like, check the opening explorer for CyberShredder. He has over 100 moves in queen to d6 and queen e7, and he has 7 times knight c3. So, I just thought, surely he's not going to do that, but he did. And then, rip. Where did it actually go wrong? I don't know. But, yeah, that was unfortunate. After that, though, it went a lot better. Got a bit lucky. But, yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
fact that Cyber started losing with the white pieces as well, that was decisive then.
Yeah, the game that you're talking about where it went wrong is that you didn't advance to the 5th rank when you still had the ability to. Because it will just simplify the position very fast. You missed it on move 15 and move 16 to advance to the 5th rank with your king.
King f5. Move 13 especially, but I saw that move. I was like, I don't want to do that. What? Wait. King f5, king d6, queen c7, take, take. And I saw that position and I thought, uh-oh. Wait, it's a draw. Oh. Oh, right, because you... Oh my god. I miscalculated the sequence with knight to d7. And I thought that's not good for me. But that is stupid, because that's just a draw.
Yeah.
I saw them up to knight d7 and I thought, okay, if rook a7, trade off one of the major pieces, and then I have major piece versus knight, and I thought for some unholy reason that it was losing for me, but it wasn't. So yeah, then I tried to hold something else, bishop e4, just a waiting move, trying to get him to do something stupid. Didn't work. And obviously, like, I did not want to play into rook to c5, but I thought I had to, and that was wrong. So, yeah, unlucky. But after that, disaster class for Cyber, unfortunately.
Yeah, very unfortunate way to end the series for him, but very fortunate for you.
Yeah, true. Like, I think everything he played I had, well, except for the games where he went queen h6. I just didn't think he would do that, and I didn't have any specific prep for it. But for every king e5 line, or for knight d3, I had extensively prepped that, yeah. Because obviously I knew that's been what he's been doing all of the World Championship long. It was very predictable what he was going to play in that sense, but yeah. Still, of course, like, I tried my best. It still didn't completely cover everything, and I still fumbled a couple of the end games, but yeah. I think in the end it's just a deserved result. Obviously, like, the 2-game advantage from the candidates, that was such a scuffed result because he blundered the game 10 draw. And if he had gotten the 5-5, maybe he would have had the 2-0 lead. Maybe. But actually, I don't think so, because his game percentage was worse than mine. But yeah. Like, I'm just glad that I won the match kind of convincingly regardless of the 2-0 lead, because 8.5 to 6.5 is a fine result, and obviously 4 straight wins. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
Well, yeah, congratulations to you once more. Was there? I got just one last thing because I'm curious because in like past series and past World Championship finals, we've always seen both sides prepare lines that aren't very conventional. Obviously, the King C5 and then that one Queen H4 line with King G3 were that. But I was wondering if you had anything else in mind that like you weren't able to play or that you prepped
Well,
in that you didn't go through with.
I can look at my folder, obviously, the line where we played knight c3 and then won the game, I had prep for deeper in that line. I had quite a lot of prep for that, actually. That was my main choice as most promising opening if he just didn't go knight c3. So yeah, that was a bit unfortunate that went by the wayside. I had some nice lines there. It wasn't necessarily anything new, as in that it was just very refined, very sharp, and very tough to play for black. Just a positional advantage that you can grind out again. In the first couple of games, I played that rook g6 and then bishop g2. And that is a fairly standard setup, right? It's nothing we haven't seen before. But when I looked into it, I thought, hey, this is actually really, really sharp, and I can just use this. And I was surprised that there isn't any stronger theory for black available, or that it's just better for black. I thought that was just a drawish line when I first looked at it, but then I thought, okay, hey, I can actually use this. And yeah, both games, even the one I lost, I just got a +3 position. It's fine. It was easily playable until I blundered. But in terms of prep, I literally used everything else, I think. I used knight c3, bishop symmetry knight c3. I used that once. I had one line prepped. It worked once. I wasn't going to use it again, because then he looks at it. I used queen h8, queen to e8 with white. I used rook g6. I used knight c3. I used all of my prep for white. Literally. I didn't have anything else. I mean, like, if I needed more prep, if I needed a different opening, I was going to play knight c2 and rook to g6. That was the plan. If I needed it, but I hoped that I would just survive with this because I hadn't had time to prep more. And I was looking vaguely at king g3, king b3, king f4, king c4, knight c2. I was looking at some lines, but it was dependent on what Cyber was going to respond, and that wasn't entirely clear.
Yeah,
and then when I looked at those lines...
I played that one quite a bit against everybody. So yeah, that one, all I know is that Cyber kicks my butt in that line. So I don't think that who knows, maybe you would have played it differently, but yeah, that one, I don't know if it would have been the best choice.
Yeah, I had something specific in mind that would have been quite new, but it wasn't as sharp as the other things I had. And obviously I knew that Cyber obviously plays that line a lot, has in the past, still does now, with the black pieces. So that was... Eventually I just dropped that. I didn't even make a file. I prepped, actually, with flashcards. So I created for most of the openings that I was looking at, I made a screenshot with arrows for all of the relevant moves. Wow. And I stored them somewhere in a private Discord, and I looked at that every single time when I had free time or had a moment of nothing to do. I just tried to remember that.
Wow.
So yeah, I had to be a bit more methodical with the prepping than in previous years.
Well, it's quite impressive what you were able to string together then. So, and yeah, you guys prepped a lot of bishop symmetry king e5 this time. Because like last time you guys met, it was a lot of bishop d4 followed by king to b3. But yeah, this time it was rather different.
Yeah, back in 2021, I felt more comfortable in king to b3 lines, and I thought I was playing those a lot, and I thought, okay, if I have to do something sharp, I'd rather play something that is sharp for both of us than if I run into bishop symmetry prep as black and I don't know what to do, right? Because that is even worse. But for this year, like, I just looked at all of the bishop symmetry theory, and for the first time, I really thought, like, hey, I can learn this, and I can learn enough that it is viable to actually play bishop symmetry every single game as black. And yeah, obviously it didn't go spotless, but it did work, so I'm happy with that.
Did you have a line ready for if he was going to play like king g3 draw span?
No. The funny thing
Go
is,
with?
I literally had 0 prep for any other opening besides bishop d4 as black. I had 0 prep because I just expected him. I just knew that he was going to do this because he has been playing bishop d4 for the entire World Championship. It's his main weapon right now. And I just thought, okay, trust the system that he doesn't prep anything else. And I literally was just trusting my own opening repertoire. Because if he was gonna prep something else, I also had no clue what, right?
Yeah.
So I just needed to cover bishop d4 and then cruise for the rest, and it worked.
Yeah, that's a impressive gamble that turned out in your favor then.
Yeah, I just spent all of my time on bishop d4. I mean, you could see it coming from the previous World Championship matches that Cyber played. He just used bishop d4 all the time. And I know that he can play other lines. I know that he is extremely strong in king to g3. But it's kind of this mutual guessing game, right? Where do I have the best chances to win? And Cyber also thinks king g3. Surely Royal knows that, right? Most of the lines. So he doesn't go for it. And he just goes for bishop d4 and he tries to win that. So yeah, like prep is really just a force field between the two players. How well do you know each other? What do you expect the other to go for? And I got it right this time.
Well, yeah.
All right. Is there any other game you want to look at? Any position?
I don't have one in particular. I don't know if Seth did. I know Seth was looking into a lot of games during the match.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all good.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for joining us, Roy, and congrats on your victory for your third World Championship, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been a while, like 3
more
years.
World Championship trophies than other trophies now.
Not entirely sure about that, but yeah, 3 is obviously great. For last year, when I was preparing for the 2022 commentary stream, I talked to Cyber, and I recently came across those chats again, and I told him I would be happy to welcome him into the 2-time World Championship club if he won against I Make Many Mistakes. He didn't end up winning. So when I read those again yesterday, I was like, please don't let it be against me. That would have been not so great. But yeah, I'm just very glad to have 3 now. And we'll see how many more.
And I mean, I guess this kind of fortifies your spot in history for at least a couple years as like the standalone #1, because
yeah, like Legacy. Obviously, I had that in mind as well. If you have 2 people at 2, like if he won the match here, it would have definitely been like shared best of all time, because
potentially even #1 because he beat you twice in a World Championship.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in terms of prestige, I have that more. I have the longevity. I've been to more World Championship finals. I've been at world #1 on the leaderboards way more. But he has the tournament results. He has so many shields. He has yearlies. He has the
Revolution.
Yes. And I can say that I'm not a tournament player, and that's true in a sense, but that doesn't diminish his accomplishments, of course. He still is the best tournament arcade player of probably all time. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think
he has a very
without
strong
doubt.
case. Yeah, and I don't even
too, right?
try to. Is that Avi or Hypno, or is that Cyber? Oh, the points record for the shield. The points record. I don't know. Yeah, he might have that. But yeah, like I don't try to compete with him for tournaments that much. I just know that I'm not that great. It doesn't bring me as much joy either to play long arenas, like 5-hour, 6-hour tournaments. That's not my thing. I've done it a couple times, but no, I'm just glad that this is the format that I enjoy most. Obviously, the final is a bit grueling, but World Championship 1 against 1, that's what I like the most to play. And I'm just happy that I won that again.
Yeah. Well, sounds like now you just gotta win RKO, and then you'll have everything.
Yeah, when is that starting up again?
Who knows?
Probably soon, actually.
Yeah.
Qued says that Avi has the shield record.
Avi has the shield record. Okay. Well, it's close between the two anyway. But yeah. Yeah, if you want to talk about RK Olympiad or RK whatever else for other events, because usually we do those now, then we can go to the house Discord and we can discuss it there.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, thank you once again for hopping on, sharing some of your experience of the World Championship. And yeah, congrats on your third title. And yeah, arguably the #1 spot of all time, at least for a while now.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun playing this year. Obviously, like for the final, I was quite stressed. I have the experience of 4 World Championship finals, and it never gets less stressful. But I did prep more methodical than ever before this year. But yeah, I'm just glad it's over now. I can take a bit of a breather and then refocus and see what's next. It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, and that should do it for our stream. So yeah, thank you for all the people who stuck around and watched Roy's interview, and all the people who watched the commentary here and on Live Chess. We appreciate you guys, kind of helping popularize the variant and giving recognition to this. And yeah, I guess until next year, next event, whatever. Yeah, what a great ending to this. Congrats to Roy. Kudos to Cyber for making it this far and still putting up a great fight.